Something always seemed off about Super Mario 64. From the terrifying enemies lurking in the worlds, to the overwhelming mystery about what was hiding beyond the castle. In this episode, we will go over some of the reasons and theories as to why this children's game often leaves players with a sense of eeriness and caution as they work their way towards saving Princess Peach. While it may go unnoticed, the underlying tone of Super Mario 64 sets a foundation for the eeriness of the game. This is due to the colorful atmosphere it portrays. The entire castle, aka the hub, is filled with bright paintings, beautiful decor, and cheerful music. While this is a normal indicator of joy and carelessness, Peach's castle also does a great job of making you feel, well, alone. While the occasional toad may appear every once in a while, it is typically just you and the castle. On the surface, this may feel fine, but humans have a natural fear of empty spaces. This is why many games under the horror category make use of empty source maps. It's not that you're afraid of being alone, it's that you're afraid someone else is there with you. Here's a clip of someone walking through an empty source map. The environment is normal, but something just seems off. Super Mario 64 features 3 heavy water-themed stages: Dire Dire Docks, Jolly Roger Bay, and Wet Dry World. While all goes the same for Wet Dry World, we're going to move that to a separate category. So what makes Dire Dire Docks and Jolly Roger Bay so eerie? Well, these 2 levels are actually very similar. They feature a deep and immersive water-based region to explore, a large vessel, and a dangerous sea creature to avoid. Both ships are large, but empty, and the creatures are typically frightening to be around. Some more than others, though. These all come together to create a presence of fear commonly known as thalassophobia. Thalassophobia is classified as a fear of deep bodies of water and the vast emptiness that goes along with it. The mystery of what could be is completed with what is found. That is why this eel is such a famous icon of terrifying attributes to children's games. The deep lake and open emptiness is finished with the exact thing that you are fearing. Odds are, if you are watching this video, you have already heard of the L is real theory. For those who don't, it is a theory that Luigi is actually an unlockable character in Super Mario 64. The proof of this lies in the courtyard behind the castle. If you enter the water fountain and look closer at the message engraved into the Power Star statue, you can make out the words L is real 2401. Possibly one of the most notorious theories in gaming history People still make fake leaks more than 20 years after Mario 64's release. While this theory in itself isn't scary, one has to think, why is this such a notorious theory? Well, back in the ages of Nintendo 64, there was no patch notes, no data miners to search for source code. The internet was just kissing the fingers of the world, and many secrets in gaming was merely shared on the playground. This sense of mystery, accompanied by no definite conclusion, left players to have an open mind about what more was hiding in the world of Mario 64. What secrets were waiting, and what more was left to be found. Falling to your death is not an uncommon way to lose a life in Mario titles. Many utilize it, but with Mario 64 being the first 3D Mario game, the boundaries were limited. The N64 could only apply so much detail while still keeping a playable frame rate for players. This is a big reason why all stages in Super Mario 64 are merely boxes in the sky. But looking below, or out in any world, you will likely find the same result: a bottomless black void or an endless emptiness. Anywhere you couldn't walk was nothing. Especially for young players, this lack of something kept an unsettling feeling to all locations. Even the castle grounds lacked structure past the slope of the hills. Mario 64 also seemed to stick with this similar theme in many intentional attributes. Some being the caged-off hole in the castle moat, or the black portal leading to Hazy Maze Cave. You might be asking why Wet Dry World has its own category. It may be a bit unsettling, but there isn't anything too drastic about this stage. Well, if you can get by the sporadic moving water bugs, then no. Nothing is too different about this stage when compared to any other world. But I included this as its own category because I feel as if Wet Dry World ties together all the previous reasons as to why Mario 64 is so scary. Let me explain. Wet Dry World has to be one of the least interesting worlds effort-wise. It is merely just blocks and structures that are seemingly placed in random locations. Enclosed in a flat gray box, this world probably has the most backstory in the game. Looking off into the distance, you can see the world's wall is actually an image. Looking at this image in a higher resolution, you can see that it is actually a city flooded entirely and left abandoned underwater. This, combined with the fact that the whole premise of Wet Dry World is raising and lowering water levels, leaves a bitter touch on the world. Those who didn't skip this stage entirely will find that there is actually one more area left to discover: the town. Moving through the cage at the corner of Wet Dry World leads to an abandoned town with somewhat decent detail. The windows are interestingly more worked on than the rest of the buildings, and the trees seem to have their own plots of soil. Effort was put to make this small village seem as if it had life in a previous time. The fear of deep water, the eeriness of an empty town, the mystery of what happened here, and theories that could be formed on a deeper story involving the town in the distance. Wet Dry World is a perfect mess of mystery and simple off-puttings that Super Mario 64 is well known for. In the end, Super Mario 64 simply feels like a dream. From the large castle that lacks essential rooms like bedrooms and kitchens, to mysterious floating worlds accessible through paintings. While imaginative on the outside, this sets an unsettling tone that something more is beyond what we can see. When you combine this with large-scale empty rooms, your mind starts to wander and play tricks. Similar to situations like being in school after hours or visiting an abandoned building. The lack of mainstream internet led to many theories being accepted as true, and what followed was many people adapting to a what-if mindset when playing Super Mario 64. I hope you enjoyed. This video took a considerable amount of time to write and edit, so I would appreciate it graciously if you could leave a like. If you want to watch more Nintendo mysteries and eerie secrets in games, feel free to click that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thank you, and I hope to see you all next time.